good?
Hello and welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast brought to you by High Noon Hard Seltzer. High Noon is about to be told to you by Kayce Smith right after she gives me my compliment because she said before the show started, she said, Brandon, I have a compliment for you. And I said, I think I know what it is. And she said, no, save it for the podcast. And I said, I know what it is. And she said, no, save it for the podcast. Go ahead.
I'm going to do it after I talk about High Noon. High Noon, delicious. So we are going to Auburn for the college football show. Arkansas at Auburn, not a fantastic matchup. However, we've never been to Auburn. We have never been to an Arkansas game, I don't think. So it's going to be a great thing. The Auburn football Twitter is promoting it. We're going to be there. It's going to be a great day, Ev. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a peach tea High Noon while I'm there. I might have 2 or 3 responsibly.
I might have 6. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Saturday, going down to great weather. The weather's gorgeous in New York right now. It's high noon weather. It's 83 degrees outside right now.
I'm ready for the cold, Ev. I'm ready for the cold.
But I'm still clinging on that little bit of summer. September to me is still summer. High noon. God, it's just the best. God bless.
I haven't even looked at what the weather is going to be in Auburn. I'm going to assume it's going to be really gross and sticky as the South normally is. But that's when an ice cold high noon in the sun before an SEC game is going to hit. The tequila, the vodka, the teas, the originals, the lemons, the limes. They've got all of it. HighNoonSpirits.com. Find a pack near you. The fall edition is the End Zone pack, which has 2 limited edition flavors, has old school like black cherry in it. So go get it now, highnoonspirits.com. And if you are in Auburn or around Auburn, come to the college football show. It's at 12 o'clock local, 12 o'clock central. We will be there and we'll all be cheersing our high noons.
Yes. Now, my compliment, please.
Okay, so I have a 2-fold compliment for you.
2?
Well, it's the same compliment, but it's back to back. So
go on.
I knew you would want me to wait. So number one, when I saw you in Chicago yesterday and you walked by, you didn't want anything to do with me, which is usual. And I noticed, I was like, God, Brandon looks really slim. And I knew you were wearing all black. So I was, black is a slimming thing, but I was like, Brandon looks good. And then when I hugged you, I was like, no, like, I know that I've been giving Brandon some shit about, him taking his steps and doing all that. Like, you feel like you're much thinner. And like you're a great hugger. You're so tall, but like I was like, dang, Brandon feels good. And then the photo that you posted today, the Hulk Hogan photo, it's the best you've ever looked.
It's Brandon. The best photo I've ever taken.
The best you've ever looked. And like, listen, you like to give me another thing I like to give you a hard time about is, your glow up, which is fine because you look fantastic. You have not only glowed up the hair, the beard, sir, you look ripped in that photo.
Kayce, I listen. You just do the right things in life. You show up, you walk, you lift some weights, you do some things, and you think, hey, maybe down the road. And I'll be honest, I gained 3 pounds this week, and I was like, oh God,
it might be muscle though.
It must be because Blutman, you're too fucking close to the screen. You're too close.
But here's like
Did you see the picture of me and Hulk Hogan?
Yes, but the reason I wanted to do the 2-fold thing was because it wasn't just like a photo, because people can look different types of ways in photos. Yeah. Like I saw you in person, and you know how like there's the old like argument of like, would you rather be told you look better in photos or better in real life? I personally would rather be told I look better in real life because then like you're walking around looking like that. You looked good in both. And the outfit that you were wearing yesterday was slimming because it was black, but like there were people like Jack McCarthy was in the gambling game being like, his shorts are too short. It's too much leg. I was like, Brandon has nice legs. And I found myself just simping for you all day yesterday in the office.
Preach to him, Kayce. God damn, preach to him, Kayce.
I'm just saying, I need to give you those. So keep those steps walking, brother. Keep them going because you're looking good. And that photo of you and Hulk Hogan is the best you've ever looked.
We might have to, we might have to walk in Auburn. I don't know what I'm going to do. Next week they're doing Surviving Barstool here, and I'm not going to be able to walk. I think I might have to go buy a treadmill.
Or you can just walk outside.
Yeah, thank you. No. All right, I know what I do, and it's walk inside. I'm an indoors walker. Anyway.
Are you going to be like the old man mall walking? Do they still have malls? I don't even know, but I feel like you're going to.
I think the malls are. Some malls are still going, but other malls are just for walking now. Like it's just old people walking.
When I worked in the mall when I was in college for like 6 months, the first hour every day that was open was only for old mall walkers.
Just old people.
You couldn't shop, but we were there obviously like setting things up, but it was just old people just mall walking.
Yeah, I mean, malls used to be a great place to walk. Ah, malls used to be awesome, and there's still some malls. There's still some, but not as many. All right, Big Ev, are you ready? Last week it was lock it in week. Are you ready for my principle this weekend? My concept. Are you ready for my concept of what these games are?
Throw it at me.
It's ScoobyDoo Weekend. And you think, oh God. And you think, why is it Scooby-Doo Weekend? Well, there's a time in Scooby-Doo or in every cartoon or maybe even movie where a character's walking through the screen and they're like, oh, wait a second. It's a little quiet out here. Too quiet.
Oh, boy.
And you know in that moment something's about to happen. And something's about to jump up and grab them or something. So this is it's Scooby-Doo, It's Been Too Good weekend. And there's 3 teams, I think. I got actually 4 teams, but 3 of them play big games. 3 teams that are playing big games this weekend where it's so far this season, they're all 3-0. Things have been a little too good for these fans. Things have been a little too good for these players. Things have been a little too good for what's going on. And they ought to have their radar up because something could be waiting to jump out and grab them. USC is my first example. They have been getting an awful lot of flowers for beating an LSU team who might be good, might not be good. But they're going into the big house. Tennessee is an example. Tennessee, everything has been perfect. Everything's been perfect. There's no flaw on this team whatsoever. We really expect them to go 12 games with no flaws. They're going to Oklahoma, who hasn't looked great. Scooby-Doo time for Tennessee. And Scooby-Doo time for Nebraska. Nebraska, everything's been perfect and good. And there would be nothing sexy about losing to Illinois at home, but that's who they got this week. What do you think about Scooby-Doo? It's Too Good weekend, Big Ev.
I love it. I think right now I'm pretty firm on 3 sides of those games this week.
Are you firm on the good team in all 3 sides?
No.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I assume you're firm on. I think you like Tennessee. I think you like Nebraska, but you don't like USC.
No.
All right. You know what? I'm not going to try to read what you think. What do you think?
So USC, I think people call me biased. I don't care. Michigan stinks. Their offense stinks. I think USC goes in there and wins. I think I don't know if Tennessee loses, but I think it's a close. I've had this literally come to me in the last hour. So I've been back and forth on this. I think I'm seeing it clear right now. I think Oklahoma's going to make this a close game.
This feels like Tennessee is kind of skipping into the playground and thinks they're gonna swing and jump rope, and by Saturday they're in a fucking war. They're wearing war paint. Shots are going off. You know, when you go to a playground and a war breaks out, my God, you're surprised. I think let's start with that game. I pulled those 3 games out to talk about, and one more actually. Tennessee, Oklahoma. Kayce, Tennessee is flying high. God, they look good. You cannot sit here and say they don't look good. Oklahoma hasn't looked great at times. Jackson Arnold hasn't looked great. The offense hasn't looked great. They've just kind of sputtered a little bit. But I gotta believe if there's some nuts in the Oklahoma pants, the very first SEC conference game ever in their building, they gotta have something.
Yeah, I was actually I think the line is still 7, right? I haven't seen it move. I just wanted to make sure. I originally, when we talked about this game, and I was talking to Big T about it yesterday, and Big T, surprisingly, was like a little nervous. I don't know if I've ever seen him. Obviously the Tennessee-Alabama game a few years ago.
Well, I'll give you an update. That has changed. He is 100% not nervous now. Yes.
Oh, okay. So what a 24 hours does. Because yesterday I felt like I was trying to convince him to not be concerned about losing that game. But as the week has gone on, I've started to realize, okay, so obviously all the, the narrative storylines with Josh Heupel and Brent Venables and Brent Venables, all that thing. I just don't think that Oklahoma's offense is going to be able to score. They might score a little bit, but Tennessee's offense is so high-powered, and there's not been anything that I've seen through any of Venables' time at OU that makes me think that's a normal Venables defense in Oklahoma. In fact, going into this season, he was like, we're finally going to get our squad back. I haven't seen that yet. So maybe I'm falling into the trap of just saying, I've seen what Tennessee's looked like. I've seen what Oklahoma's looked like. The only thing that's scary is it's in Norman at night. And that is a massive, massive factor on this because I love the Boomer Sooner. I hate it. It's in my nightmares. It's going to be a hostile environment. The SEC, I just think that Tennessee is more talented. And I like their coaching better than Oklahoma's coaching. I think Heupel is a better coach than Brent Venables. God, I keep fucking that up. I think that Tennessee's going to cover. And maybe I'm stupid.
Blutman.
Yeah, I think that this is a pretty fascinating matchup. Obviously, I think people are kind of going the wrong way about this and just assuming that Tennessee is going to walk in there and just straight up blitz them with the offense and rout them. Hey, that might happen. I don't think enough people are giving Oklahoma's defense the credit that they probably deserve. Yeah, the offense hasn't looked good. The defense has looked quite fine. And as I've brought up many times before, having what they call mini BV, Zach Alley, as their DC. I mean, this guy is aggressive. He's tactically, he's a genius who's going to get his head coaching gig soon enough. Like, he'll have a plan in place. I don't know if you could stop these wide splits with Nico, but nonetheless, I can't wait for that offense versus that defense. That's what I'm most excited for. I really cannot wait.
The SEC, if Oklahoma wins this, could descend into pure, utter, and total chaos because there's already too many. There's too many little puppies at the water bowl here. Like that, you got so many: Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas, Georgia. There's so many teams that think they're infallible this year. Texas, there's so many teams that think they're infallible and think they have a chance to be the best team in the SEC. Tennessee's one of them. If Oklahoma was to stand up and beat them, I don't know if Tennessee just falls all the way out or if Oklahoma climbs up into that group and then it's like, well, we're going to be hard to beat too. So I really don't know. Listen, I've gone back and forth with Oklahoma fans many, many times. I got too much respect for the program to think they're laying down and letting Tennessee rub their belly.
I don't think that they would lay down, but you've gone back and forth with Oklahoma fans. You've gone back and forth talking about Venables. Like, do you like if we're talking about -7, let's stick with that. Like right now on Thursday at 4:25 Eastern, are you going to take the number? You going to take Oklahoma in the number?
I don't know if I'm going to bet it. If I were going to bet, I would bet Oklahoma 100%.
Really?
1,000%. And I would maybe sprinkle the money line. I'm not infallible. I can be wrong. But I don't think Tennessee became the Pittsburgh Steelers overnight. I don't think they became I understand their schedule is 122nd ranked, I believe, right now, and that's with a win over a ranked team who's not very good. They have looked incredible. They haven't had to do anything yet. Now you have a redshirt freshman quarterback in his first, I think this is fair to say, his first big game on the road. He's never seen anything like he's going to see Saturday night. Maybe he looks awesome and goes on to win the Heisman, but I would bet on Oklahoma, a program like that, a proud program standing up and fighting.
This is where the chalk thing comes in for me. When you look at the games, like we've talked about Tennessee and how they've just destroyed everybody. Like Oklahoma beat, was it Temple in the opener, like by 1 billion points. Then they struggled against Houston a little. I mean, they almost lost that game. And then they didn't blow Tulane out either. And I know that you can't always take that into, an SEC home game, home opener, whatever. But there is a little bit of me that's like, okay, if Tennessee is blowing the competition out and they've not played anybody and Oklahoma's not played anybody and they've struggled, like that to me is a telling tale of at least where they're going to go into the game. Now, obviously those things can change once they see what's given to them, but just going into it, it just feels like Tennessee is the better team. And it's hard for me to think that they're going to get beat by Oklahoma.
Now I feel I have the same principle at play and Big Ev's already talked about it, but nobody wants Michigan to get embarrassed more than me. I adore it. I revel in it. I want to sit on a couch with Big Ev and we both just roll up little Michigan blunts and just smoke until the day is. I just want to smoke Michigan all day long and just get high with my friend Big Ev. That is my dream Saturday. However, I have the same feeling about this game. Now, I think Oklahoma's probably a better team than Michigan because I don't respect Michigan very much. My thing about USC and Michigan is USC's probably pretty good, but LSU might not be that good, and they won a one-possession game that was back and forth. I don't know. They're going into Michigan Stadium against a desperate team. They're going in there in their first conference game. I'm not betting Michigan because I just don't know if I can fundamentally do that. I don't want to be a shitty person. I wouldn't bet USC either. Big Ev, I know you're hard line. You just think Michigan stinks that much.
Yeah, I mean, they're 0-3 against the spread as well. My biggest thing is, and I'll keep harping on it, the offensive line is such a downgrade from what it was. That's their bread and butter, and they don't have it anymore. Yeah. And now they made the switch to Orgy. They can't throw. He cannot throw the football. They are very one-dimensional, and it's a USC defense that's significantly improved. I mean, you're going to need an incredible Michigan effort on defense. To make this a game. I just think USC is going to be able to score enough. Like I think they're a little tougher than they have been. I think Michigan isn't nearly as tough as they have been. And I also think on both sides of the ball, Lincoln Riley and Lynn, they're going to get circles coach around. Like they are going to coach the shit out of this game as opposed to Michigan. They have the significant coaching upgrade on both sides of the ball. And I think that's another huge factor here. And I think Miller Moss is a real guy. I think he's a legit guy. I think he's going to prove himself maybe in this game as an NFL guy. Yeah, I just can't trust Michigan. Like even catching 5.5, trust me, the gambler in me would want to take Michigan in this spot, but even just eye test with this team, like I just can't get behind this team, Michigan or not. Just take the logo and the colors off it. They're just not a good football team.
You're making me feel better. I like that. I like that you just gave me a little pep talk about Michigan sucking. Blutman, you've been on USC since the beginning. I doubt you've fallen off of that.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, Miller Moss is truly an NFL guy. I got some people looking at me sideways before the season started while I said this guy's going to be the number one quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft. He's that good. His timing, his poise in the pocket, everything is so good. Their offensive line is also improved. Their defense is wildly improved. Like I've said, what are they going? How is Michigan going to move the ball downfield without a passing game? How are they going to do it consistently? They probably can't. And one thing about the LSU game that Ev and I maybe know better than anyone else, Lincoln Riley coached them into that game to only, I worded that weirdly, they only won by such a slim margin because of Lincoln Riley's mess ups. If Lincoln Riley coaches a fair game, if he coaches a C+ game, USC's winning that by what? 15, 16, 17-ish? Like, where they handled that game completely fine.
Kayce, Michigan, USC?
I'm taking USC. So I know that you said you think Ev, obviously Ev shows a little bit biased, but he's right. And like I've been the Michigan person on this podcast, Jack Mack and I cannot see how this offense can hang in this game. And I understand, like, Quinn Ewers in Texas, I still think is better than USC, but I still think that USC is going to be able to do the same thing that Texas was able to do on that defense. And Michigan didn't like lose a gigantic chunk of defense on their defense. They were supposed to have a pretty good defense. The problem is their offense just cannot score. And I said this last week or last episode, and I'm going to say it again because it's true. If Alex Orji was the best quarterback on the roster, he would have been starting at the beginning of this season. It's not like that you lose J.J. McCarthy, you've got these options, and he clearly wasn't. And Warren Davis, he stinks. He stinks. So I don't understand how this now Alex Orji is going to come in. And I think 5, to me, that seems too low. And maybe that's just because I'm so down on what Michigan looked like against Texas and high on USC, but I just don't see how they score to keep up with that offense.
Did you call him Davis Warren or Warren Davis because you just can't remember which one it is?
Yeah, no, honestly, if you say both, then you're fine, right?
You're covered. Yeah.
I think it's Davis Warren, but then I say it out loud and I'm like, okay, Warren Davis, just in case.
I think Warren Davis was like a good base stealer for the Dodgers in the 60s.
Fair.
That's what it feels like Warren Davis would do.
It's one of those days where, obviously I was saying Brent Venables, saying Brett Venables. It's one of those days where names just aren't really coming to me very easily. But no, at the end of the day, Liam, I don't know who was looking at you sideways about Miller Moss, because anybody who watched that bowl game knew that Miller Moss was slinging it. I don't think I knew they were going to be this good right away, because I wasn't very high on them just coming into the season because I didn't know about the defense. Michigan's offense is just so ass. It's just so bad. And maybe I'll be proven wrong with Alex Orji, but I just don't see a world where that's true.
It was more so saying that he was the best quarterback in the class before, he had really shown much at all aside from the bowl game, placing him above Carson Beck, Shador, Quinn, etc., which I was confident in doing, but other people see that. Whoa, no, you're crazy. That ain't right. I'm right.
Michigan, ass. But I'm terrified that we're going to look up in the fourth quarter. It's going to be 14-13 Michigan with 3 minutes left. And
may I submit something to you?
No.
I think that you have
PTSD.
You have PTSD, but we're not going to be all together for that. So you'll be okay. I also think that you're looking, which is a fair thing to do, looking at with Caleb Williams and what he had to fight through with that awful defense. That just doesn't look like the same USC defense. I'm not saying that they're the fucking Bears, but they're also they're better. So don't be too down on yourself.
They're a more complete team.
The first big game in the Big 12 happens this weekend when Utah and Oklahoma State play. Just to make sure this isn't one of those Big 12 games. It's not a Big 12 game, right? This is a Big 12 game.
I believe so. Yeah,
I believe so, but honestly, with
Yeah.
that rule, you just
Yeah,
I mean,
you just never know. So it's Utah, it's Oak State. It's the combined quarterback age in this game is 49. The combined quarterback age in Titans Bears
45,
44, I believe. No, one Titans Bears. It's Colts Bears.
Colts Bears, yeah.
Colts Bears, yeah.
Williams, yeah.
Yeah, it's Anthony Richardson, and yeah. So although the one in the Titans Bears was probably low too, but so yeah, you've got a very old quarterback matchup, and I know Blutman loves old quarterbacks. You've got two veteran quarterbacks, one that has been injury prone. You also have Ollie Gordon on the other side. More importantly than that, to me, you have a Utah team who was the betting favorite to win this conference. If they're going to do it, they got to go into Oak State and probably get a win here. I loved Oklahoma State at the beginning of this year. I love them now. I love everything about them in this game. I think Utah hasn't really been the physical juggernaut over the last couple of seasons that it was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and Cam Rising's health. But this is, you can talk about Tennessee, Oklahoma. One looks markedly better than the other. You can talk about USC, Michigan. One looks markedly better than the other. This is just even Steven as it gets. Utah's had some moments of struggle. Oklahoma State's had some moments of struggle. How do you read this game, Big Ev?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the line movement's been crazy this week. It's been like a yo-yo. Utah +3, down to a pick'em, back to Utah +3, 2.5. I mean, that line movement is pretty indicative to me that Cam Rising probably isn't going to play. If he's not playing, my stock is attached to Cam Rising playing. If he's not playing, I don't feel the same way about this team. So if he's not going to play, I'll probably be on Oklahoma State money line. I probably won't even play with the points. You said it right. Oklahoma State's defense scares me. I think that's my concern. But I think without Cam Rising, I don't know how much they can exploit it. And I do agree with you that I don't think Utah's defense is that same defense that had like Bishop and like what was the linebacker a couple years? They got drafted by the Jaguars. Devin Lloyd. Like I don't think they have those same kind of guys that they have like big time NFL like top draft picks last few years. So yeah, if Cam Rising does not play, I'll be on Oklahoma State.
Blubman, what's your read?
My read is pretty much what I've said. I mean, Utah was a 2.5-point favorite less than 24 hours ago. They're now a 2.5-point underdog. They're rising steam. If he's not playing, yeah, I like Oklahoma stay in the spot. If he is playing, I like Utah. Pretty simple there. I got a question. Ollie Gordon, is he good?
That was gonna be my question whenever I got the ball.
He hasn't been so far. A running back is very dependent on his offensive line. It's not like they're putting in a backup running back and he's running for 10 yards a carry. But certainly the magic is not really been with Ollie Gordon this season yet. Correct.
And then I was going to say defensively for Utah, the guy you got to look for is cornerback Samaya Vaughn. If he is having one of his games where he's on, he's a potential like late first round pick. And that's someone that Alan Bowman and that Oklahoma State passing attack has to be very cognizant of. Also, fun fact, remember Caleb Loner?
No.
You don't remember Caleb Loner? Big Ev, you remember Caleb Loner?
I can't say that I do off the top of my head.
Basketball player, BYU, Baylor, Utah tight end.
All right. You were expecting us to. Okay.
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. We know ball.
Blonde,
you're
blonde?
right. We know ball. We know ball. We should have known that. We should. Hey. I'll wear it.
Ev's gonna get there.
I was searching my memory bank.
Yeah, we were all searching for football players.
I know, but that's like the crazy thing is, like, he's playing tight end at Utah.
Feel like you could have said, remember basketball player Caleb Loner.
You wouldn't have remembered that either, though.
Caleb Loner, football player, doesn't exist till now. You play at BYU and Baylor. He's playing tight end at Utah now.
I'm going to say a controversial statement.
Say it.
I like Oklahoma State if Cam Rising doesn't play. I like Oklahoma State if Cam Rising does play. Fuck Cam Rising. I like Oklahoma State at home. They're a physical team too. I think they're going to be able. And listen, maybe numbers are just numbers, and last year he didn't get going until they gave him the ball. But this year, maybe week 4 is just the week that Ollie Gordon gets going. Maybe he's a week 4 guy.
The last 2
maybe he's a week 4 guy.
I looked it up. The last 2 games, he's rushed 34 times for 90 yards.
Maybe he's a week 4 guy.
That's an average of 2.6 yards a carry. And and listen, I completely agree. Like, I know I was high on Utah. I completely agree with Ev. Like, my Utah stock was definitely attached to Cam Rising. If Cam Rising's not playing, then it's not the Utah, team that I expected it to be, which, again, he missed all of last season with a foot injury. It's his right hand now. Like, the guy's injury prone. So that's, I guess, kind of on me and kind of on us. This is, though, a massive game for that conference. And it's like, okay, Oklahoma State, like, this is the thing. Like, if Ollie Gordon gets going, if they, finally get that, like, take control of this conference, because when you look around the Big 12 right now, you don't really have like a for sure leader. Like, if Oklahoma State wants to take that without Texas and Oklahoma, this is the game. But if Cam Rising's not playing, it's a completely different game.
I think if we were judging the Big 12 on points like a boxing match,
yeah,
it's early. Nobody's really been knocked out yet. Well, a couple of teams have been knocked out, but nobody. The big favorites have been knocked out. But I think Iowa State's probably my leader in the clubhouse if I'm just judging on points, which they don't actually judge football games on points, except that's exactly what they judge them on. All right.
I know what you're doing. But, I mean, both Utah and Oklahoma State being 3-0 and, like, if Cam Rising is playing, though, like, Utah has to win this game if they're going to be a Big 12 contender, in my opinion, because it's like if Cam Rising's playing, like, this is going to be one of their hardest games. I just is Ollie Gordon good? I mean, it goes back to what Liam said. Is he good? He's good.
I bet he is. I'm going to say he is, yeah.
But I wouldn't say he looks like the Doak Walker winner from last year yet.
You want to do some business and I'll go to another segment?
Yeah, so we're sitting here talking about all these games, all the lines. The best place to do it is with our friends at DraftKings, Ev. So we obviously are all on DraftKings. We've been on DraftKings for a while now, but there are probably people listening to this that are newbies that haven't gotten into the game yet. The best time to do it is during football season. Obviously, we are partial to college football on this podcast because we're a college football podcast. So all you have to do right now is put $5 on any bet. It doesn't have to be just college football. It can be NFL. It can be baseball. It can be WNBA. It can be soccer. It can be anything. And once you do that, you get an instant $250 in bonus bets if you use the code RUFF. Ev, that's a fantastic deal. Like, can you explain to the people what that means, how good of a deal that is?
Listen, it's simple as this. You deposit $5, use code RUFF, and you deposit $5, you place a bet, and boom, $250 in bonus bets. It's that easy. Boom, instantly in your account. You bet $5 just like that. Make sure you opt in. Use code RUFF.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, I wish I was a newbie to get this deal. Like, that's how good it is. You can go and you can put $5 on like a minus 400 money line. It doesn't even matter. You could put $5 on anything. Use code RUFF, $250 in bonus bets instantly. Gamble responsibly.
Big F, 10-second answer. I like App State tonight. What do you like?
I took South Alabama plus 7.5.
Just kind of taking a shot at it.
I like the dog short week. I don't think App State is very good. Even the ECU win last week, it's ECU that quarterback just can't stop throwing interceptions. If he didn't turn the ball over, ECU wins that game. I think they keep it close. They can score.
Yeah,
Boone's a tough place to play though. So
yeah, I think it's just a particularly not that strong South Alabama, but it's also not a strong App State. It's kind of I'm going to bet App State just to have some stuff going on.
I like the over.
All right. Well, that'll be goddamn.
62.5.
Yeah.
Before I get to the categories, one thing I want to talk about, Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers will not start this week. He will instead be backed up by Arch Manning, who will start, the 5-star mega freshman, redshirt freshman, mega recruit from a couple of years ago, who apparently is a Manning who can run that we saw the other day. I think normally, and I don't know if this speaks to the job of Steve Sarkisian, I think it more speaks to the job of just Arch Manning being really mature from a football family. But normally, if you had a mega recruit like this behind a mega recruit, and he gets in the game and he does as well as Arch appears to have done so far and might do this weekend, you would have some sort of quarterback problem, controversy. It seems to me from the outside looking in that Arch is perfectly content being the plug-and-play starter when he has to be, or sitting and waiting his turn behind Quinn Ewers. Now, his granddad was an NFL quarterback. His two uncles were both NFL legendary quarterbacks, and so he's not new to the game. Big Ev, Am I crazy to think if this happened at, I'm just going to say a school. I don't know if we're having in Georgia, I could see it being a problem, but I think Texas is in like one of the most unique, best spots I've ever seen where they've got a top 5 quarterback starting, a potential top 5 quarterback behind him, and everybody's happy.
I said it on our who's up and who's down on the last episode. I said Texas up because I think they're in a perfect spot with the situation, and it's so unique that I think Quinn Ewers has played so well, and I think especially obviously the playoff appearance, and then you parlay that into the Michigan game. I think he solidified himself as it doesn't matter. He's not coming out, but I think they can win with either guy, and that's the perfect spot to be in. I think the only way it could possibly become controversy, it's not a game against Louisiana Monroe. I don't care if Arch goes 30 for 30 for 500 yards and 10 touchdowns. It doesn't matter. The only way it becomes any sort of real conversation is if Ewers has to miss extended time. Say he misses 4 games and Arch just lights it up. Say he goes and they beat, I forget who's on the skit. Imagine they play against Georgia or something and they win with Arch. Then it's a thing. But I think other than that, Quinn Ewers is safe. It's all good. Like you said, Arch is mature. He seems fine just doing what he's doing. He's playing well. He's putting good tape out there for scouts and get ready for either next year or whatever he has to play this year. I think they're in an unbelievable spot. They have 2 elite quarterbacks.
To Ev's point, I mean, Brandon, they play Mississippi State next weekend. No offense. If Quinn Ewers is out for the Oklahoma game, which is October the 12th, and Arch has to play that game, and Arch plays really well, and they beat Oklahoma, which I anticipate they'll do with either quarterback, then I would agree. It's exactly what you just said, Evan. Like, the easier way to even put it all together is it's not a quarterback controversy because Quinn Ewers is still so good. The second that Quinn Ewers starts to look not as good as he has been or start to struggle because of the injury, then it becomes a controversy. Right now, it's all right, great. We have this incredible situation with this absolute stud sitting behind him, and because he is from a football family, they're not pushing it. I honestly think if his name wasn't Arch Manning, we could have more of a controversy, but it's almost just he's this mature guy coming from a great football-minded family where it's hey, man, just sit back and take your time. And if Quinn Ewers starts to struggle at all, Arch Manning is going to – everybody's going to be ready for that. That's where Quinn's probably sitting back Jesus Christ, I better be 100% healthy before I get back in this game.
Yeah, Blutman, any thoughts on Texas quarterback?
I just think that Sark has a tremendous culture there right now with great buy-in from everyone. Yeah, Arch is from a great football family and everything, that's saying the right things in his head, but credit to Sark and what he's built 100%.
All right, let's get to the categories. Kayce, business.
Oh, we've got business. We've got do you want to eat something while we do some business? We stand on business while Brandon eats his what's flavor is that? Hot honey?
This is hot honey. In fact, I'm going to go over there and see if there's a barbecue.
Okay, so pork rinds. So if you were listening, you didn't see that he picked up a bag of pork rinds, a brand new bag. I just steady go through a bag every time I open one. Ev, again, the spicy dill is my favorite. I had the sweet barbecue the other day. Today I opened a hot honey, and I just can't stop eating them. They're so delicious. They crunch, which is obviously anytime you get a snack, you want that. But the biggest thing for me is they have less than 1 carb a serving, tons of protein, and this is something that I know guys care about it too, but they've got some collagen protein in them. That's good for your skin. That's good for your hair. It's just a naturally healthier snack. So throw the pretzels away, throw the chips away. Pork rinds, the Southern recipe, small batch pork rinds. They are friends of ours all season long. Damn, they're good, Ev. Damn, they're good.
I have bad news.
What's your bad news?
There were no barbecue ones over there. I have
but
good
you have
news.
the spicy dill.
I have the spicy dill.
I can see that. This is how much I eat pork rinds.
You're locked in on the color?
The color. As soon as granted, spicy dill, green, but when you picked up the yellow bag earlier, I didn't have to see the front. I know how this goes. The purple is sweet barbecue.
Thank you.
Oh,
nice catch.
That was a
good throw.
That
was clean.
Yeah.
Who threw that to you?
Connor Griffin.
Oh,
Family.
sick. Porkrinds.com. So if you go and get those right now, you're going to be a crunch time hero. Listen to that crunch. Listen to that crunch. Do it again. Nope. He wants me to stretch. I was going to let him just chew into the microphone because everybody loves that, right? Crunch on your Southern recipe pork rinds. Find your crunch time hero at porkrinds.com.
Now, Kayce.
Take a sip of water. They are a snack that you need a bottle of water.
Yeah, you do need to chase it. I will agree with that.
That is true. But you know what, though? I said this the other day when I was eating some pork rinds with a friend of mine. is that, it's a good snack whenever you don't even realize like how, like you're eating and drinking at the same time. You're not like, oh my God, I need water. And it's like one in the same because the flavor's so good. It's great.
Kayce, you weren't here last week because you had travel issues and I had to do the show at a certain time. So, we did make Blutman's Cover Your Eyes Game of the Week a thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
That is a category. So I don't know if you were prepared for that today, but we do have
I have a Cover Your Eyes game.
I will ask everyone to be respectful when picking this week's Cover Your Eyes Game of the Week.
I'm not going to be respectful.
I am going to ask everybody be respectful. And
I'm not going to do it.
Well,
you weren't respectful when.
Well, I tell you what. I was just kidding. Actually, there is no Cover Your Eyes Game of the Week. That was a stupid idea, and we're not doing it.
You were very adamant that the half of the Cover My Eyes Game of the Week was going to beat my team last week. So why would I not be adamant that your team and this team is the worst game on the slate?
Well, it isn't the worst game on the whole slate. That's crazy. All right, Big Ev.
I mean, it's Florida, Mississippi State, everybody.
This isn't we're not doing this category right now.
Oh, well, spoiler. It's Florida, Mississippi State.
You know what? I hope we beat you in a couple weeks when A&M brings their overrated happy asses to Starkville. I hope because we've beaten you with worse teams than we got now.
Well, first of all, I don't know about that. I mean,
2016, we were terrible and we beat the fuck out of y'all.
Stinks. Are we gonna make a bet about it?
No, because we're awful. All right, Big Ev. Of all the games on the schedule, what game excites you the most this week?
I mean, we already talked about it. I mean, I don't know how you can look at the slate and it not be Tennessee and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's just the clear choice. I'll let someone else pick the other ones. There's definitely deeper cuts, but I think just to see Nico go into a hostile environment, this offense, because we got to remember the NC State game. It was neutral site. That was not in Raleigh. It was in Charlotte. And even that game, not that I think Tennessee still handles them, but there was a point in time deep in the first half where NC State's driving to tie that game 10-10, pick six, game flips in its head. I'm especially this Oklahoma defense, like Blutman pointed out too. I'm just curious to kind of see that matchup, Tennessee's offense, Oklahoma's defense. Also, Tennessee's defense is very good. So I sneaky think this game might be lower scoring than people might think, but yeah, I'm very, very excited to see this game. This is a classic. Like you said, Oklahoma, can they establish themselves as a power this year in the SEC? And can Tennessee go in here and win and say, hey, we're a legit national title contender? I mean, if they go do what they've been doing with all these other teams, in Oklahoma, I mean, they're becoming one of the national title favorites.
I agree. If they walk in there and they win this game, I'm just use the score from NC State, 51-10. Look out! I mean, we've got something serious on our hands. If they go in there and win 16-13, pump the brakes a little bit. If they lose, obviously the brakes pump themselves. I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off Ev. I don't know how you look at this slate and come up with any answer other than this one. I'd be willing to, if Michigan were anything on offense, that one could apply. Nebraska, Illinois isn't terrible because I think that's got a sneaky Friday night classic game kind of sitting there. And Utah, Oklahoma State, giant game, but I don't know how it's not. Saturday night, have we had a gigantic Saturday night game yet this year?
A&M Notre Dame, but that was probably just because it was week one.
That was week one. Yeah, we really haven't had one to capture the whole attention of the nation. So, Kayce, what game are you most excited about?
I mean, it would be crazy to not pick that one, especially because, we talk about like playing at tricky and tough places. I know that's like a deep cut from the college football show. Like Norman is a very tough place to play. Oklahoma is a tough place to play. And I said, I think Tennessee's going to cover by the time I get to Saturday night. Who knows what my mind will say. But just from a standpoint of what it means for the SEC, and this is a broken record that everybody's saying, is like without divisions in the SEC, without Tennessee being in the SEC East, and we know that in the SEC West, Oklahoma would have, probably have been in that. Like because Tennessee is still right there with all the other puppies, like you mentioned. If they win this game and they cover the spread and they're convincing, like I just don't know who we say. I mean, I guess you can put Georgia there, but how you don't say that Tennessee would be the next best team, and then you've got Ole Miss sitting there, and you've got Alabama. So it's like very, very interesting from a Tennessee standpoint. But then there is and maybe this is the media mind in me, like I mentioned, Venables and Josh Heupel, they've not been back together since they won the championship in 2000. Like just everything that goes with this game is going to be electric, and it's at night. in Norman. Like that to me is like the exciting, no matter who you are, if you like college football.
Yeah, I'm excited about it very much. I think, it's not even a bad slate. It's just that one just sticks out so much. Blutman, I know how many you got, first of all.
I have 1.5.
Go.
So I just want to give a shout out to App State, South Alabama. These are the kind of games I live for. Let's just be straight up and honest. So I can't wait for that one.
What? Who are you taking? Who are you taking?
I've kind of harped on this a lot. I don't think App State's very good at all. I like South Alabama outright tonight in the higher scoring game. Now, I could easily say Oklahoma and Tennessee like everyone else. That's why I brought a different game. I completely agree with you, Ev. I think it's lower scoring, too. I think it's like a 24-20 kind of ball game. The game I am most excited for, though, is the one that I'll have on like a third TV while Oklahoma and Tennessee are going to war. Cal, Florida State. It's the circus I can't stop looking at.
I almost did this exact same fucking thing.
I am so excited to see how Florida State looks edition 4. Can they look as bad as they have? Do they make any sort of progress? I don't know. I don't care. I also got to watch a hopefully healthy Jaden Ott play football again. Can't wait.
That you said on, I think it was Saturday night when you described the Florida State game as it was airing on Comedy Central. And I've thought about that every single time because it is just true dumpster fire football. And Cal beat Auburn. So it's not like Cal is, I mean, they're not very good probably in the grand scheme of things, but like Cal's going to beat Florida State, right? Cal's going to beat Florida State.
I'm going to do it again. I might do it again.
No.
Don't do it, Brandon. Don't do it. Brandon, don't do it.
Big F, tell him.
Brandon, I was on last week.
Well, he's
I don't know.
going
I might
in
be
and out.
back. I'm not confirming I'm going to be on Florida State, but I will say this: if I'm on this game, it will be on Florida State.
No.
I don't know. It's how the stock is so low.
So low.
It almost can't. Is it possible to get low? There was no world where they could have been underdogs at home to Cal. I don't know. They're 2.5 point favorites. They have been touchdown favorites for more every game. They've lost all 3 outright.
Casey, what we're doing is we've walked into this Florida State Garden 3 times. And last week we reached up and there was the fruit, the tree is overweighed with fruit. It's just sagging down. And I just reached up and I bit into it and just a worm crawled out. And I was like, oh, I'm never eating that again. And then the next week we're back and I'm like, well, this one can't have a worm in it.
It's a good looking apple.
Brandon, it has a worm in it because what you have to assume now is that every piece of fruit that you bite into that is a Florida State piece of fruit has a worm in it until they prove otherwise. Call me crazy, but like the shame on you part is over. They've done it 3 times now.
But Casey, what if there's not a worm in there?
Yeah, what if there's a spider?
Yeah.
What if it's a delicious piece of fruit?
It ain't.
It ain't.
It ain't good. It's gonna give you rabies.
There is nothing about this.
Apparently, me and Big Ev are the only fruit appreciators here.
I love fruit.
And that's shocking.
If I could only eat one thing for the rest of my life, it would be fresh fruit. And I'm telling you right now that the fresh fruit that you guys are starting to eat tastes like dog shit. Okay.
That can
ask 3, 2, 1, no.
Yeah. Big Ev, you're having internet problems. And it's Pete's internet. I apologize. Well, maybe it might not be Pete's internet. I can't tell. But yeah, you're just having some internet problems. Anyway, Kayce, me and you've been together for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not disputable. We are friends, right? We've been together through a lot of wars, right?
I don't know what's about to happen. I don't like what's happening right now.
Let me tell you something. If you ever say, if I could have one thing to eat for the rest of my life, it would be fresh fruit. Get the fuck out of here.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Fuck out of here.
No. You listen to me and you listen to me good.
Fuck out of here. You listen to me, woman. You listen to me.
I don't mean like an apple or a banana. I mean a fruit salad. You're sitting here telling me that a big ass fruit salad with strawberries and melons and pineapple and kiwi. I love it. In fact, to the point you have children. You have a lot of children. When I was growing up, my birthday cakes were always from, and like, I don't know if people know what La Madeleine is across the country or not, which is like a French bakery. It was the La Madeleine fruit tart. I'm talking like in second grade. I didn't want an ice cream cake. I didn't want chocolate. I didn't want cookies. I wanted the La Madeleine fruit tart because that's how much I like it. Now, mashed potatoes would also be a good example of that, of what I would eat. But I love like a fruit salad fucking slaps. What are you talking about?
Fruit or mashed potatoes? You're the whitest
Brandon.
person. Yeah.
You ever have pumpkin pie?
So I was at this bar the other night, and I was just being cool, you know how I do. And this lady come up to me, and she said, "Brandon, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah, that's my name." And she said, "Brandon, does pussy taste like pumpkin pie?" And I said, "Don't ask me that damn question like that. I ain't never had no pumpkin pie. Kick it."
What the fuck just happened?
I ain't never had pumpkin pie either.
I'm slowly doing Bernie Mac bits. So I've been doing the "does pussy taste like pumpkin pie" bit all week, and I had to do it on here too. I apologize.
Does it?
How you gonna ask me a question like that? I ain't never had no pumpkin pie. All right. I thought pickings were slim for this one here.
Do not eat the Florida State fruit. Don't do it.
All right. Under the radar game.
All I'm saying is I'm looking at it. I'm staring at the tree.
Me and Big Ev just standing under a tree, just doing this.
Yeah, you and 3-2-1 Noel. You and 3-2-1 Noel.
And I just tap Big Ev. You seeing what I'm seeing? All right.
Apple looks shiny.
Big Ev, what's your under the radar game for this week?
So my under the radar game is Kansas, West Virginia.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think this is a game where this is a last stand game for both these teams if they want to have any sort of season. Neil Brown coached himself out of the doghouse last year. Is a loss away from coaching himself right back in it. Either team loses game, they're 1-3. Their backs are against the wall in Morgantown. Should be an exciting game. I kind of like Kansas, but I think I'm very excited to watch this game. Noon kick.
Yeah, I agree. This one is this one is something. Blutman, what's your under the radar game?
Like you said, it's so scarce. I'm going with what time does this game kick off?
I don't know what the game is.
Earlier than it should. Yeah, 5:30 Central Time. Fresno State, New Mexico. Good players in this one. Mikey Keene, Malik Sherrod, Magdalena, Jalen Moss, and Cam Lockridge. Lockridge already has 3 interceptions on a season at Fresno State. Then you got to watch the fun playmaking Devin Dampier play quarterback for New Mexico. Stuff that gets me fired up. You know me. Can't wait. True TV.
Kayce.
Kayce,
I love that motherfucker right there.
He is just one of a kind.
I feel like somebody looked into my brain, my college football brain 3 years ago and just created him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like somebody just like was studying you for a while and was like, you know what we need to do? We need to create Liam Blutman and drop him into your lap.
But they forgot to put in the appealing things.
Oh, that's mean.
Kayce, who's your under the radar game?
My under the radar game is Miami, South Florida. And USF, obviously like they've given Alabama fits for the last couple of years, but for me, it's more of like, what is Miami? Like we know they're really good. And we know that, we put them up there in the upper echelon of teams who have handled their business and handled it well so far. But I think the line is 17.5, and I want to see what Cam Ward can do against this South Florida defensive front. They're really good. I know they're getting a piece back on their offensive line. But, South Florida, and I know Liam's been high on them too, like Byron Brown is a good quarterback, a dual threat guy that like just could give this team problems. And if Miami is the clear leader in the ACC, which I think that we all think they are right now, and they go in and they blow this very talented team out, then I think that we're just like, holy shit, Miami is a national title contender. If South Florida can hang around, and not to say that like Miami couldn't be, because obviously we've seen what they did with Alabama, But this game is under the radar because I think that it's an in-state rivalry too. They haven't played in a long time. Like, I think that, and maybe I've fallen into this, like, we've crowned Miami, like they are the top of the ACC, and then everybody else is kind of fighting for next spot. This game could be very interesting down the wire. I absolutely think that South Florida covers this 17.5. I think it's going to and if they don't, Miami is the real fucking deal.
Ask me.
Brandon, what's your under the radar game?
Hey, Big F.
Don't do it.
No, I wrote down 4 because I didn't know which ones y'all were going to do. Has there been a more under the radar team over the past 2 years than Louisville? Louisville just quietly just going up there chopping down trees and just they got a stack of firewood behind them and nobody notices the trees are gone. Georgia Tech, Louisville. Georgia Tech is another team. They beat Florida State at the beginning of the year. They needed kind of another win to say, all right, well, we're actually pretty good. Georgia Tech, Louisville is one. I wrote down TCU, SMU because anytime you throw in some old-fashioned, some pretty good hate here, I think there's some decent hate there.
There's a lot of hate.
I wrote down
Sonny Dykes.
I wrote down Miami and USF as well, Kayce. I wrote down Cal, FSU as well. And I wrote down Michigan State, Boston College. Michigan State wins this game. Do we have to start paying a little bit of attention to them?
Yes.
I know they had that sluggish win in week 1, but they've been decent since. And I think if they were to beat Boston College, who kind of beat Florida State to get on the radar and last week didn't embarrass themselves against Missouri, I think the winner of that game we might have to put a little pin in and say, okay, well, they might have a little bit of things going. Ultimately, I think it's Georgia Tech, Louisville, because Louisville is just the most under the radar team in the country right now. As people are looking for ACC contenders, they obviously accept Clemson as one. They accept Miami as one. But we tried to make Florida State one. We tried to make Georgia Tech one. We tried to make NC State and Virginia Tech. Maybe the biggest ACC contender, not named Miami or Clemson, was just Louisville sitting there staring you in the face the whole time. All right, I'm going to go first so I can take this one because I know Blutman was going to take it. Upset alert. I have a good radar for when these things are going to happen, and I know who his upset alert was going to be, so it's going to be my upset alert.
You know for a fact, or you're guessing?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
You're so wrong.
What? I'm so wrong at your upset alert?
Yeah.
What state is this game being played in? Your game.
No comment.
You know what? I'm going to let Big Ev go first, and I'm going to trust that you know that I know that you know that.
There's no way you have mine.
No way I have your. Okay.
There's no way.
Watch me have Big Ev's. Big Ev, who is the upset? Who's on upset alert?
I want you to write mine on a piece of paper.
You want me to guess?
Yeah, I want you to guess it, or just put it in your phone or something. I want you to, so I know that you know.
Well, now, okay.
I know. Now I'm very intrigued. I feel like mine is like a very chalk answer.
All right, go Big Ev.
I don't think. I think if you know me, it's not. I don't think it's that hard to guess.
All right, go Big Ev.
It's BYU. It's Provo. It's Kansas State coming off a big win, going to Provo. Provo is one of the poster childs of tricky and tough on the college football show. It is not tricky, it's tough. And this team is much better than we thought they would be. I know it's BYU. Like I said, if you know me, you know my spots. You know the way I see college football, the way I bet. It's BYU and the points here.
It says K-State, yes.
Yeah, K-State's on upset alert big time. Going to Provo, brutal. And BYU's defense is good. They're a team that people thought were going to be very bad going this year, and they're not at all. They're a tough team. They're a good team. I think this is an incredibly tough game for them. Would not shock me at all if BYU wins this game. I think they're incredibly live. I'll definitely be on them with the points.
Well, that's mine too, and I'll just share a little bit more there. Not only is BYU better than we thought, maybe K-State, Avery Johnson hasn't really taken the step forward that we thought he might take. He hasn't really been a dynamic passer yet, and more importantly, we've already seen him struggle mightily on the road once. They were lucky as hell to get out of New Orleans, Louisiana with a win over Tulane. I think Provo, Utah is not going to be as friendly an environment as Tulane was. So I think it's absolutely Kansas State. I think they're the ranked team that better be watching out for their P's and Q's this week. Now, obviously, You already mentioned teams like Tennessee who are higher ranked than Oklahoma. I already mentioned USC, who I think could be walking into a trap, Michigan, but I think it is definitely K-State. Kayce, who's yours?
It's the game that we're going to be going to. It's Arkansas over Auburn. I know Auburn right now is favored, I think, by 2.5. Like I understand that, Auburn, they benched Peyton Thorne because he stinks. He had the 4 interception against Cal, but like Hank Brown and Arkansas, they lost that game on their own last week. Like Arkansas themselves. I just don't think that Auburn is good at all. Like I think that Arkansas, and I understand it's on the road and Jordan Hare is hard to play in. I think Arkansas is a better football team. It's in the middle of the day. There's nothing about this Auburn team that screams like they're going to be able to win this game handily. And Arkansas is a weird situation for me because I don't necessarily think they're god awful. And I think Auburn is god awful. Like I don't know exactly where Arkansas is on the awful scale, but I don't think they're as low as Auburn. I think that they're going to go in there and win outright.
Blutman, what's yours?
Was dangerously close to taking BYU. I think that they win the game outright. However, I knew Ev would have it. I knew Ev would have my back with that and like have that one. Yeah. Good job, Ev. Good job, Brandon. What happened at 3:08 p.m. Central Time?
Today?
Yep. An hour ago on the dot.
I have no idea. I was getting ready for the show. What's up?
No idea. Kayce said, don't do it.
Oh, you going to do it?
Kayce looked at you, Brand, and she said, don't do
Don't
it.
do it. Don't do it.
She only said, Brandon, don't do it.
Do it.
Yes,
Do it.
Don't do it.
Do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Bowling Green, Texas A&M. Texas A&M, a 22.5-point favorite. Is there any reason that A&M should be a 3.5 touchdown favorite in this game? I do not think
Yes.
so. Am I saying Bowling Green will win this game outright? No, I am not. I'm just saying tread carefully and watch out. Bowling Green just went to Happy Valley and just outplayed Penn State. Yeah, they lost to Penn State. Whatever. Harold Fannin, the tight end that Bowling Green has, is legit going to be the best player on the field once again. He's a legit NFL tight end prospect that could go as early as the second round. That kid is that good. When they played Penn State, they didn't have their RB1. They didn't have Terrion Stewart, the heart of this program. That's their second best player. They have good quarterback play. They have good weapons. Great buy-in. They play solid defense, and we've seen what's happened. The good of the MAC is like pretty dang good, and they could hang. The bad of the MAC is abysmal, and you don't want to watch that. What Coach Hammock told you guys, what I've echoed for years, the MAC has so many NFL guys because they're fringe prospects that they're real hit or miss. But when they hit big, and they get to the NFL, and they produce long, successful careers. Well, I will say, too, about A&M, it's a potential gross sandwich game. The sandwich of going and winning a road game at Florida with embracing your new QB1, Marcel Reed. You're going home to play a lowly MAC school, easy pickings, and you've got the rivalry game right ahead next week at AT&T Stadium when you play Arkansas. Sandwich right there. And again, I'm not saying Bowling Green wins, but I am saying, will it shock you in the slightest if the team that lost to Notre Dame and lost to Northern Illinois, that team ended up losing the Bowling Green?
No, we don't do the math like that.
Kayce, I'll have you remember, upset alert is not saying this team is going to lose. It's saying they better be alert.
No, I know, and that's why I calm down. I overreacted like I do.
And if your team were to lose to a MAC team the week after my team lost to Toledo, we might just shut it down.
We gotta go.
We're gonna put Blutman and Big Ev in a room, and me and you are gonna lock the door and light a match, and we're just walking out. We're just walking out forever.
It would be so tough, Brandon. And we've had a couple of I can't remember exactly. I think it was the 2020. I don't know. There was one night where we both were down super, super bad. This would be the worst. I will say it, Liam, and this is, me, I do overreact. I thought when you were revving up, and I did give you the middle finger, I apologize for that as well.
No, all good.
I thought you were going to say Bowling Green was going to win the game, and I was about to throw up on the floor.
See, I am going to take a money line, though. I think the value is so great that I can't pass up on the money line.
Liam, have you seen
I'm being legit honest.
Now, I will tell you guys something right now, and you mark my words. And Connor Wigman is still injured and Mike Elko won't say who's starting. If we are sitting here on Saturday night after we get back from Auburn and Connor Wigman has played that game, not even 100% healthy, I will, in front of God and everybody, I'll have some things to say. Marcel Reed is our quarterback number 1. That's all I'm saying. Okay, no more A&M.
All right. Blutman, dynamite pick, buddy.
Thank you.
Fantastic stuff.
Thank you. They're good
you want misery. You want misery as company. You want Bowling Green to beat A&M because you want me to feel as bad as you felt last week when Toledo beat your fucking ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are such a prick.
No. If I'm down here in the mud, a lot of people are reaching up saying, "Please help me out of the mud." No. I'm fucking grabbing motherfuckers. I want get your ass down here in the mud.
UCLA might be the worst team in the Power Four.
UCLA, boom, coming out.
UCLA might be worse than Florida State.
We're not even the worst team in the Big Ten.
Whoa! Everybody, calm down. Everybody, calm down for a second.
You know what's really annoying? It's so annoying that we've never had
that bitch up there. That bitch up there with Ohio State.
Ev just sits there and laughs at us. He's a little puppeteer. He's like, ha ha ha, like, because Ohio State could win the national title. We're like, yeah, all right, fine. We're just all peasants. We're peons.
Yep.
I mean, you guys are worried about losing to MAC schools. I mean, what are we talking about?
By the way, for the record, I'm not worried about this game. I don't appreciate that my work husband in Brandon and my new friend Liam on the podcast are going against my team. I don't like that.
Neither me and Kayce can quite figure out the pointing.
It's a cutthroat sport.
There you go. Kayce just had it first. There you go. Kayce.
All right. Wait. Hold up. Big Ev.
Yep.
Blutman.
Yep.
Casey.
Yep. Nailed it.
Me.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. All right. Here we go. Game. Do we have how much business we got to do on this show?
Well, you need to do the.
We do that at the very end.
So that one more and then that.
Yeah.
Oh, so do that business first.
We do the Dog of the Week parlay presented by DraftKings at the very end.
Okay, then it's cars.com, Brandon. I know that you were looking for your almost 16-year-old car. Have you found one?
It's getting real. It's getting real. She's got her permit. She's driving. Whenever my wife and her go somewhere, she drives every time. And like I now have another driver in my house, and it's I got to find her a car, or I got to find me a car and just give her mine. So I know that if I am getting rid of my car, I can use the cars.com to tell me the exact value of my car. I can find another car on there. They got up to 2 million cars on there at all times, up to 50,000 cars uploaded daily. There's no better shop in the world than being able to shop cars on cars.com, Kayce.
Yeah, and I can imagine that when you're going through that, you're looking at all the safety features. And I know we talk about all the filters you can use on cars.com when it comes to like air conditioning seats or heated seats or sunroofs and moonroofs and the whole thing. But safety is obviously something that's incredibly important. And you can make sure to check all of that on cars.com. I can't even fathom the idea of my child driving. And I obviously have a long time to think about that, but that is a terrifying thing. And I'm hoping that cars.com is still around when that happens so that I know I'm getting the safest car possible and I can track my car's value to give it to him. Cars.com.
Well, we're getting closer to it actually happening because every time I talk about her being old enough to drive, I tear up just a little bit more.
No, I can't, Brandon. I can't. Please don't cry. I'll cry too.
All right. Well, November, it's going to get rough. We might need to be apart in November.
Oh my God, no, we're going to end up crying in the office, aren't we?
I'm not crying with you. I don't want to. Men don't cry.
I love when men cry.
Yeah. Who? Forgot Connor Stallions.
No, that was his mom.
Okay.
Well.
All right.
No, I listen. Caleb Williams crying to his mother is still one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
Oh, that was a bad cry.
No, I know, but that means
that wasn't even like I can respect a man cry. That was a weeping like pussy cry.
No,
yeah, he's right. It was a weeping pussy cry, Kayce.
Here's the thing. Maybe pre-motherhood, I would have felt some type of way. I've always been like, if guys want to cry, that's fine. I obviously to a certain degree. Like, I can't have you crying as much as I do because that would be weird. This is why I'm not a lesbian. I do.
Yep, that's why.
Yeah, that's why. But when Caleb Williams loses that game and it wasn't his fault, it was his shitty defense's fault and Lincoln fucking Riley and Alex Grinch's fault, the first person he wanted to go to was his mom. See, this is why, Brandon, whenever you made fun of me about the Connor Stallions video, which to be fair was ridiculous, and I wasn't actually crying, but then I did cry whatever, beside the point. The Caleb Williams thing was actually like the mom in me was like, I hope that I have a grown-ass son one day that still wants to cry to me, not some hussy.
Well, guess what? You will. 2 overtime potential games that you could look up and turn into a 2 overtime classic. Previously 3, but the overtime rules just kind of make that a moot point. 2 overtime classic. Big Av, what do you got?
Brandon, Kayce, I think we're going to it. I think Arkansas Auburn is big time overtime potential. This is we don't know what these teams are. They both have shown flashes. They both also have shown a lot of flashes of stinking. I think Hank Brown is a better option. But we saw him against an awful team, so I'm curious to see him against a team with somewhat of a pulse. Both kind of similar spots where they're playing to kind of keep their season on track. You lose this game, you're really kind of headed downhill. But this game just seems like chaos to me. I think the weather I think is okay, but there was a lot of wind last week in Auburn. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see Hank Brown play against a better team, see what kind of guy he actually is. I know he's young, but. Yeah, I think this game has big time just chaos potential.
Also, when in doubt, for the overtime category, always pick Arkansas.
100%.
They're an overtime team.
They'll make any game closer than it needs to be.
Yes, they will.
The amount of overtime games A&M Arkansas alone has been in since we've been in that rivalry is crazy.
I mean, even just last week, even the last week, their defense against UAB was bad.
Yeah. Kayce, your 2 overtime potential game, please.
Well, I have 2. We already mentioned the SMU TCU game, the Iron Skillet. Like, they hate each other. And I know Liam said, like, heated rivalry. You've got the Sonny Dykes factor. Like, SMU has not looked as good as a lot of people have thought. We still don't even know what TCU is supposed to be. Like, 2-2-1 teams in a heated rivalry. Like, it would not surprise me. And then one that I'm, and maybe a little biased here, but I think Colorado Baylor has a potential to be an absolutely weird football game. Like, TCU Baylor is like, I have no clue what to expect with them. Like Dave Aranda, I think probably shouldn't even be there anymore. Colorado bounced back against Colorado State. Shador has I think he's literally 999 yards, 9 touchdowns. This Baylor defense might give him a little, they're favored by 2 at home in Boulder, homecoming game. Homecoming back into the Big 12, just it has that feeling to me of just kind of maybe like a shootout type of situation. But yeah, either one of those to me would be. I think both of those games are going to be very fun to watch. SMU, TCU, and Baylor, Colorado.
Blutman, your 2 overtime potential. How many do you have?
I only have 1. I did think about both Arkansas game and SMU game though. Also, thank you SMU for stuff. Very cool stuff. Thank you SMU. Kansas, West Virginia.
Can I stop you there?
What?
Charlotte sent big boy over there and sent you a helmet this week. Yeah. SMU sending you some stuff. What gives? Why are you getting sent stuff and I'm not?
Titus said it best. They're calling me what was it, Bosco Blutman?
So you're just in it for the free merch now?
No, that's not the thing. And then Malasek also said it best. He's like, he can't be that though, because he'll just straight up trash a team anyway. Which is true. Like, I am going to give things real.
You're not giving me an answer. Why did you get a Charlotte helmet, Big F?
So, if you remember when we did the G5 rankings of helmets, I was the only. I put Charlotte at 5, and coincidentally, it was not the helmet that they sent me, but I used the one with the C on it that I think has like the gold and the green. I white on the white helmet. I think it's a beautiful helmet, beautiful logo. So they reached out to me at that time, which was a while ago now, and said, "Hey, we want to send you a care package." I almost thought they weren't going to send me one. And then this week it just pulled up, Brandon, a massive box, like 20 shirts, hats. The helmet was the coolest part. It was, I don't know. It might've been game worn. It had scuffs on it. It had number 37 on it. Looks like a kicker's helmet. I tried to put it on my head. It was so tiny. Yeah. It would have smashed my skull like a watermelon if I tried to put it over my head.
They cut a kid to send you a helmet.
Yeah, probably that's what happened. Yeah.
Announcement. All colleges, universities that play college football. Brandon Walker at Barstool Sports is a whore for free merch as well. Ooh. He wears a 2X, and you may send it a care package to him, and I don't care who you are. I will not wear Michigan. I will not wear Ole Miss. I will not wear Alabama. Everybody else, I will wear your shit, unless you're Oklahoma or Alabama or Auburn. No, that's it. I'll wear everybody else.
I bet you would wear Oklahoma if they sent you some shit.
I would wear the shit out of Oklahoma. I've worn an Oklahoma jersey on this show before.
I also would like to dip my toe in that, but I'm not going to say that I am a.
No, you don't need free shit. You get free shit from everybody. You're a chick.
Yeah, I'll take all the free shit too. The Auburn equipment manager hit me up. I couldn't have responded faster. I'll be going to the facilities on Friday, aka tomorrow, and I'll be coming home with a boatload of Auburn merch. I imagine. I can't wait.
Heck yeah.
One of my favorite
old whore eagle up here.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite pieces of merch that I got was from Auburn. They have some really soft merch.
Blutman, I'm sorry. What was your 2 overtime potential game?
Also, Brandon, sorry, your issue with the free stuff was you dip into the high school game too much. That's your issue.
I'd love free high school merch too. I've said that.
I know, but that's why the colleges aren't like, hey, Brandon Walker. It's because you're like, yo, high school population 700 in the city. I need your stuff. That's your issue. Kansas, West Virginia, double overtime. Keep it simple. Keep it quick.
Brandon, also, I do feel like we probably we got so much free merch for the first few years of this podcast that maybe they're they don't want to send us anymore.
Mine is also West Virginia, Kansas. It's for the same purpose of Big Ev making his under the radar game, but 2 desperate teams, two hungry dogs right here. They're going to be scrapping over a little piece of bone that ain't going to feed them all. I think they're going to be fighting to the end. I like a 2 overtime classic game there. Now here's one. With this interesting slate of games, I think this is going to go all over the place. What player are you most excited to watch this weekend, Big Ev?
I'm going to go with a guy who might be a weird answer because we've seen many would argue too much of him. I'm going to say Mr. Alan Bowman, and I'm talking Mr. because he's 35 years old.
Yeah, he's your elder.
This is a fascinating game for him and for this team. Because like we talk about Utah, massive game coming to Stillwater. You're high on them. You picked them, I believe, to be in the I can't remember, Brandon, you picked them to win or be in the Big 12 championship game. You picked them to go far, be a playoff team. This is a spot where you got to show up, regardless of if they have the Devin Lloyds, the Ben Bishops, the guys that get over the past. They're still a good defense. We know one thing for sure: Kyle Whittingham will have this team prepared. They'll be ready to go in Stillwater. So if Bowman comes out here and has a good game, I want him to show me they can be a playoff team. This is a game show me you can step up in a big game, a big-time environment, home environment for you, and win this game. Yeah, show me you can be that kind of guy. It's maybe he's answered that question already. Maybe I'm naive. He's so old. He's played forever. But I want to see it. Alan Bowman.
Blutman?
Yep.
Player to watch. Three players to watch. Go.
One for each day of the week. I think it's fair to go about like that.
There's 7 days of the week.
Well, games that are being played. So, as we get Tuesday, Wednesday games, it will grow.
Go.
Nonetheless, we're starting tonight. South Alabama running back. I told you guys about him before he even touched the ball in the game. Fluff Bothwell, best name in the country, best pro prospect in this game. 23 carries for 243, 4 touchdowns. That's 10.6 YPCs, 5'10", 219. This guy was going to redshirt. He was just too good. They couldn't redshirt him. I like him for 2 touchdowns tonight against App State. Torrey Cox Jr., cornerback, Illinois. Nickname, Scrawny Dog. 5'9", 170. He's from Miami. He's physical. He's really good at timing up pass breakups. 5 interceptions in his career. I loved watching this guy at Ohio. Love seeing him get his opportunity now in the Big Ten, and big test for him Friday night against Patrick Mahomes. Gonna love watching that one. Then Saturday, Rutgers running back, Rutgers football, Kyle Monungai. Physical, great vision, slippery, good in pass protection, high level effort. He's getting an NFL running back job, whether it's RB1 or RB2. He's getting a spot because of this. He's just so good.
Kayce, your player to watch this week.
It's the Friday night game. It's Dylan Raiola, but also Luke Altmaier. I don't know if you guys have looked at I don't know how much you're paying attention to Illinois' stats, but if you look at Dylan Raiola and Luke Altmaier's stats, they're almost identical. It's really weird. It's almost creepy. Luke Altmaier is 54-78 for 647 yards, 6 touchdowns. Dylan Raiola, 59 of 80, 670 yards, 5 touchdowns. These are 2 quarterbacks I'm really excited to see against these 2 defenses. And I do think that Dylan Raiola / Patrick Mahomes is very good. I think that Nebraska should be very excited. This is going to be their first true test. And I understand Colorado did not look good, and Colorado's offense is probably better on paper than Illinois. But I do think that this, we're going to see just an absolute mud fight in Lincoln between these 2 teams. And I'm excited to see both of these quarterbacks against very good defenses. And I don't think that Illinois is by any stretch, if you beat Illinois, you're a true team. Illinois is good. Illinois, I think we were down on them a lot. So both of those quarterbacks I'm very excited to see, but mostly Dylan Raiola, because I do think that he is the real deal for them. I just really need him to admit that he's purposely trying to be like Patrick Mahomes. I can't get past that. I can't get past it. We talked about it on the NFL show. Like, Dan gave Will a hard time about it. And I understand, like, I'm totally okay with you, like, emulating your favorite. Like, that is totally fine for me. You have to admit that you're doing it.
Big Ev, what was your reaction right there?
I just want to say one thing. I just want to say Illinois is live in this game. That's all. I just want to say that Illinois is live to win this game.
When she said she wants Dylan Raiola to admit he's being Patrick Mahomes, you went like that.
It was out of I just wanted to say the Illinois thing, and then she kind of started talking the Raiola thing. Not that I disagree with her, but
okay.
No,
my comment was more on it was just on the game.
Yeah, no, the game itself. I mean, it's 2 3-0 teams on a Friday night. I mean, it's going to be, I think, a very fun game to watch. And I need Dylan Raiola to just say he's doing it. We all know what he's doing. I can't stand that he just won't admit it. Brandon, player you're most excited to watch?
Well, I'm surprised this guy got to me, but it's, I know ball. So,
is it Nico?
It's not Nico. It's not Nico.
Is it Jackson Arnold?
But it is in that game. Because if you're a 5-star quarterback who walks into Oklahoma and you're the heir apparent to everybody they've had there, you've had your great quarterbacks through the years, and they're excited about Jackson Arnold. When they lost Caleb Williams, they're like, all right, well, we got Jackson Arnold in the pipeline. He's coming. Jackson Arnold was a huge super recruit who so far through 3 games hasn't been much. But you're playing a Tennessee team who couldn't be more in love with the smell of their own farts right now. I mean, they are riding high. Tennessee is on the mountaintop, just they're cruising. What better way to announce yourself as the Oklahoma Sooner cornerback than in your very first conference game in your house, beating a top 10 team and planting your flag saying, God damn it, I'm the Oklahoma quarterback. I'm Baker Mayfield. I'm Kyler Murray. It's my time now. You're also playing a team who they've looked great so far, but the weakness of this team coming in was we knew Tennessee had a good quarterback, good running backs, good receivers, good defensive line, but the secondary was a problem. It has not been so far because they haven't played a quarterback. Well, Jackson Arnold, time to be a fucking quarterback and win the game.
You putting Jackson Arnold amongst the Lincoln Riley quarterbacks is crazy.
That's not what I said.
I know, but just to even hear it.
It's not what I said. What I said was, if you want to be one of those guys,
this is a game that I get you.
It starts right here, right now.
Spoiler alert. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think he's one of those guys.
Well, I don't know if you would have thought all of those guys were going to be one of those guys when they were in the 3rd game of their sophomore season either. So
no, but I did think that Lincoln Riley had more potential to have one of those guys than Venables. But
fair enough. All right, now
what's going on?
It's time for the Cover Your Eyes game of the week. The Liam Blutman Memorial Cover Your Eyes game of the week. Liam, I will let you go first.
Yeah, I got a really gross one. That don't watch it. Just don't watch it. You don't want to watch. You don't want to watch Central Connecticut State go and play UMass. You don't want to do this. Tickets are cheap for this one. Probably stay at home, watch ball on your couch like Dabo did last week, and he had a ball. Don't go to Amherst to go watch a lowly, gross, bottom barrel UMass team play a Central Connecticut State team that's probably gonna beat them. Ooh.
Big F, you're second. What's your Cover Your Eyes game of the week?
My Cover Your Eyes game is a little more high profile than that. Washington Northwestern is going to be stinky and gross. I mean, Northwestern their offense is putrid, absolutely terrible. And I hope you don't take this as a shot anymore, Brandon. He's like, Will Rogers stinks. I mean, he's bad. Washington.
I told y'all that.
Yeah, he does stink.
Yeah, he's bad.
I thought he just stunk in
both
that
these offenses are just awful. The total's 42.5. I mean, that might be high. This game wouldn't shock me at all if it was 16-13. I don't think Northwestern is capable. I think they're allergic to scoring 20 points. Yeah, this game's going to be gross.
All right, and I'll go last.
No. Hold on a minute.
What?
I'm gonna be.
No, you go ahead. I want you to say your truth.
I'm gonna say my truth. First of all, it's absolutely Mississippi State, Florida. But my biggest beef is not with the two teams themselves. And I understand you have to put networks, in place earlier than how we knew. The fact that this game is the 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff on ESPN is horrific. Okay. Like we're going to be on the road. We're going to be having our show, but there are going to be millions of people tuning into College Game Day and then are going to be forced to be tossed into Starkville, Mississippi for that toilet bowl of a game. Cover your eyes, folks. It's shit. What do you want? Oh, Brandon, what's the cover your eyes game of the week?
I just think if we're to week 4 of SEC season, of college football season, and you're still playing a fucking MAC team, and you're out there and you're trying to get to pad your schedule with a win over a MAC, and not only that, this is the cover your eyes game of the week. I caution anybody at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday night, make sure you do not tune in to see a bunch of male cheerleaders, a bunch of dudes kissing, a bunch of dudes grabbing each other's nuts, a bunch of male cheerleaders doing this shit.
There's nothing wrong with dudes
just
kissing
sitting there
either.
jacking off giants on every side of their shoulder.
No.
You
Stop
cover
laughing
your
now.
eyes.
Stop
Never
laughing now.
do not watch Texas A&M play football ever, lest you be exposed to the cult of A&M. Cover your eyes.
Brandon.
You did this to yourself, and you know you did it.
At least it's on ESPN Plus and not on ESPN at noon for the whole world.
Oh, sorry that we're giving exposure to our guys.
Yeah, you know what? That's great. And then did you see what the Toledo head coach said, that this is the primetime game for Mississippi State? They're trying to poach the players. Like, no, we can actually win here. Listen, this is ugly. This is nasty of you. Look at how we started the podcast. I gave you compliments. You don't actually think A&M Bowling Green is the cover your eyes game of the week. You're lashing out. You're being nasty.
Did you see what a Mississippi State fan did today?
What?
So on every Mississippi State message boards, you've got like fans going like, I just can't watch this team anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I'm washing my hands of this. Another Mississippi State fan anonymously donated $8 million to the football program. And they're like, fuck this shit.
I saw that because the only reason I saw that now that you said it is that because Katie Pondisio said like, don't count, like Brandon Walker is so generous or something like that. I was like, it would be, if Brandon Walker would donate any type of money to Mississippi State, we'd hear about it.
Oh, I do donate some, but I'll just say this. If I ever win the lottery, the mega billion dollar lottery, and I won't tell you, but there will be signs. there will be.
The locker room will be like the fucking locker room.
The fucking this 5-star went where? Like, yeah. That there will definitely be signs like Travion Henderson transferred to what? All right. So that's a good place, and I gotta tell you right now, it is now time for us to put together the Dog of the Week parlay presented by DraftKings. That's where all of us put together an underdog parlay. We bring our favorite underdog of the week, and we put it together like that. And then we'll have that. I'll talk to you about the Dog of the Week parlay presented by DraftKings in just a second. Big Ev, give us leg number 1 of the Dog of the Week parlay presented by DraftKings.
So I already talked about it. It's BYU plus 6.5. You do not go into Provo and win. It's just something you don't do. Incredibly difficult. That simple. Give me BYU, the Cougars, and the points.
Love it. Blutman, what's your second leg of the Dog of the Week parlay presented by DraftKings?
Getting Boston College coming off the tough, brutal loss to Missouri. They've had a good start to the season. Coming off that loss, a bit deflating. It is red bandana game, but I like Michigan stay in the spot. I like them to cover. I like them to win outright. So we're taking the money line here. Aiden Childs, big test for him. Childs to Marsh for 6. Michigan State wins this one.
Leg 3 of the Dog of the Week parlay presented by DraftKings. Kayce.
It's Arizona State plus 3 at Texas Tech. Arizona State looking to go 4-0. Texas Tech, they killed North Texas last week, but they struggled in week 1 against Abilene Christian. They got killed by Washington State. I like what Kenny Dillingham is doing. I know playing in Lubbock is not an easy feat, but I do think Arizona State wins this game, but I'm going to take plus 3.
I'm going to go off the beaten path a little bit for my leg of the dog of the week parlay presented by DraftKings. I'm going to take Southern Mississippi +6 on the road at Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is just a shell of what Jacksonville State usually is. And if you watched Southern Miss last week, they jumped out 14-0 on South Florida. They competed with South Florida for about 3 quarters. I feel like if you can get the same amount of effort and early buy-in from Southern Miss, and this week you'll be able to win a game on the road at Jacksonville State. So my leg is Southern Miss +6 at Jacksonville State. This week, DraftKings has a college football parlay profit boost. All you have to do is head to the app and opt in, the DraftKings app. Head to the app now to check out our bet. Claim this week's boost. Once again, it is the Dog of the Week parlay presented by DraftKings right here on Unnecessary Roughness. It is BYU +6.5. It is Arizona State plus what?
I think it's +2.5.
+2.5. It is Southern Miss +6, and it is. Hold on, I'm looking at you. It's Michigan State, right?
To win.
That is your Dog of the Week parlay. Again, DraftKings has a college football parlay profit boost. All you have to do is head to the app and opt in. Head to the app now. Check out our bet. Claim this week's boost.
And it's +1918. 1918.
That's pretty damn good.
Did we all lose again last week?
Well, we won the week before.
Right. We hit the week before.
And then last week, I don't know what y'all did. I certainly lost.
I lost.
I lost big.
TCU choked.
Yeah, okay.
We all lost. So we got to bounce back because we went 4-0 and then 0-4.
And parlay, one loss isn't all loss, so it's fine that we all lost. So
I did laugh, Brandon, that in the group text early on Saturday, you said you were like, whose pick was North Texas? And like Ev was like, no comment. And then the rest of the day folded. We were like, all right, well, at least Ev didn't have to completely bite the bullet.
Yeah, I mean, I had Florida, right? So
that asshole.
Yeah, hey, but facts don't care about your feelings, Kayce.
Yeah, and clearly your facts were incorrect. Just like I'm going to cover the shit out of my eyes. Thank God we're doing a live show.
No.
Thank God we're doing a live show.
When you're getting your little makeup done, you're getting your little nails polished, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to grab your eyes. I'm just going to keep them open so you can watch Florida. And you're going to be sitting like this with my hands around your eyes so you can watch Florida, Mississippi State.
Oh, actually, no, because it's not. Where were we last year when the makeup artist was so into you? What? Somebody asked me that recently.
I don't remember, but she was
hot. But like, I can't remember. Teresa, my makeup artist in Chicago, was like, where were you? Where Brandon was getting hit on by the makeup artist, and I couldn't remember.
Nebraska.
It was Nebraska.
I think we were in Nebraska. So we started the show with an ego boost. Let's end it. What did she say again? I forgot.
She saw you came in to talk shit to me as you normally do, which is so rude. And she was like, "Damn, girl." She was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Brandon." Whatever. She was like, "Is he single?" And I was like, "No, unfortunately, he's married and has 4 kids, and his wife's pretty hot." She goes, "Damn, that's a shame." And then you walked back in later, and she said it again.
Yeah. Well,
and she was also good looking. Like it wasn't,
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, you know what? If we ever go back to Nebraska or wherever that was, I'll send her the photo of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I can't wait to cheat on my wife. Okay.
I just haven't walked in yet.
All right. We'll see each other. We'll see everybody in Auburn for the college football show on Saturday. Me and Kayce and Big Ev will be there. Then we'll hop on a plane, get right back here for Saturday night, and right after Tennessee, Oklahoma, we'll come to you live. And that's how we'll do it for everybody here. Kayce, take the picture.
Oh.
Jesus. Why does she get them?
The fireworks. Okay.
I hate fireworks.
I've got fireworks too.
That's Unnecessary Roughness.